So the prompt for today, as we go through phase 2 of Let Go of Toxins, is blank no longer serves me and I let go today. Blank no longer serves me and I let go today. So today is about letting go of toxins, or letting go of, I'm going to kind of bring up some other points. And I was actually looking for my sheet so I can actually give you like the specifics. Instead of using the word toxins, I want to be able to tell you specifics. Let me see. Yeah, this one has it. Okay, let me bring up, I have about 100 screens open, so y'all bear with me while I navigate. So when we say toxins, we're going to talk about metabolic end products. That's called hormones, but the waste byproduct, what's in excess, what has to be removed. Because we have hormones, but they do things at a different stage. They become a waste byproduct and then they have to be removed. And we'll talk about the removal process today. So it's going to be metabolic end products, microorganisms. So you have to look underneath a microscope like we did in 8th grade science and 7th grade science, and you dissected the frog and you dissected everything and you looked underneath a microscope and you got to see all kind of little things swimming around and you're saying, "Eee, that's gross." And then they made you eat a frog afterwards. It was like, but you see, we're kind of cool with that in South Louisiana. Look, Jen's face, it's priceless. I can't see half y'all faces because of the where my screen's open, but Jen's is like in the corner of where I was reading, and I'm like, ooh, I like this. So my brother literally did this to me one time. He literally took 2 frogs, put them down my shirts, tied my shirt so I couldn't get them out. Look at everybody just like, so you got to realize I was raised with boys and I just had to hang tough. Okay. So those are microorganisms because they started off as a little tadpole. Contaminants and pollutants. So I live next to a sugarcane field and they gladly spray with an aircraft. Nice, wonderful poisoning all over South Louisiana. Y'all looking at me like, so Sherelle, you have the potato fields, you have the beet fields. So this airplane, just sprays it all over our houses and, just all the wonderful contaminants and pollutants. We also have what's called Cancer Alley down the whole bottom belt of Louisiana. We're the end of every 86% water, and all the plants are down there that have a lot of stacks that send out a lot of pollutants, and they're always getting fined. But we actually call that the Cancer Alley. Then we have insecticides. So that's going to be the people who spray their homes for bugs and ant poisons and anything that's going to kill something. So Roundup, I'm going to use that word, and it's called glycinate. If somebody from another area, Marissa, how do you pronounce it? Because I'm Cajun, I'll butcher everything.
I think you pronounced it well.
Okay, so we'll stick with glycinate. And then food additives. So I spoke last month about a lot of like your BPAs, your MSGs, your red and yellow dyes, and all the different wonderful chemicals. I saw a quote and I tried to save it. And then, saving it's one thing, going back and finding it, that's a whole nother ball. So I had saved it to be able to give y'all a quote, but it's actually Dr. Amen that the quote. And when I find it, I'll post it, and then everybody will be able to see it, and they'll do, that's what Chris was talking about. Then we have drugs. So drugs will be pharmaceuticals nowadays, not necessarily street drugs, because pharmaceuticals are street drugs. If Lisa could probably talk on that for years with us. And then we have alcohol, but you see that ending the OL? I want you to realize that a lot of sugar alcohols will be treated the same way in the body. So albuterol. So I know a lot of people who say, oh, I started using stevia. First ingredient, albuterol. And I'm doing, oh, that's nice. That's not the brand I use. But anyway, everybody defines health. So when I use the word toxins, y'all just got the down low of what are we referring to, because a lot of people use that word, and y'all know me. I'm the person who's going to ask you 30,000 questions, and then I'll say, so what toxin are you trying to get rid of? Well, I don't know, just those toxins. And I'm like, no, I want to know what toxins. Sarah, I'm gonna have to get you a frog, a pet frog. No.
Hey, Chris, before you continue, can we just have everybody check and make sure you're on mute? You're the host, so I can't mute anybody. So if everybody can just check their mute button, that would be awesome. Just so that we can hear everything that is coming out of your mouth. Thank you.
And can y'all hear me okay? Is everything coming out clear? Okay, because I had some issues on my phone yesterday in several conversations, and it was while I was on my car phone, but it always worked well, and now it's got a glitch. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually read from my Falling Apart book of 1986 of Louise Hay, The Colon, because today we're addressing the colon. It represents our ability to let go, to release that which we no longer need. So the prompt today is blank no longer serves me, and I let go today. So the body's being in the perfect rhythm and flow of life needs a balance of intake, assimilation, and elimination. That's intake, assimilation. So last month we spoke about assimilation. This month we're speaking about elimination. It is only our fear that block. Let's see. There we go. It is only our fears that block the release of the old. So instead of just saying old, I'm going to say past or past language, because what we verbally say, we are telling somebody. I love when somebody says, yeah, but I didn't really mean that. And that's one of the things I don't want to do anymore. I want to say what I need to be saying and stop using the words that I don't need to even use anymore or want in my life. Can one of you
repeat that? It's only our fears that block.
So give me a second, Tiffany. I was reading somebody. So somebody, can somebody commit to sharing your notes with Kristen Brunius as she's in the car? Okay, Tiffany, go ahead.
That sentence you said was really good. It's only our fears that block, but then I didn't get the last part.
I'll repeat it. Thank you for asking. It is only our fears that block the release of the old. And in old, I want you to put like in parentheses, past or patterns. Because yesterday I had a huge awakening in a pattern that I've been having since I'm 13 years old. And it was Lord have mercy. Look, it was so freeing. Let me say it like that. Even if constipated people are not actually stingy, they usually do not trust that there will be enough. I'm going to repeat that one. Even if constipated people are not actually stingy, they usually do not trust that there will be enough. They hold on to old relationships that give them pain. So you see how a relationship could be something from the past? Because just like cleaning out your closets, if you only have, you're ready for this? You really, truly only have 10 relationships you can manage. You really, truly only have that. I know that a lot of people can manage a lot more relationships, but they are not some deep-seated, true core relationships. Now, you can have a circle like this is. So this morning, we actually have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 people. And we pretty much, join and have a connection of like-minded people in here. Lisa, you did an amazing job on your post this morning. They hold on to old relationships that give them pain. They are afraid to throw out clothes that have been in the closet for years because they might need them someday. They stay in a stifling job or never give themselves pleasure because they must save for the rainy day. Doesn't this go with yesterday's prompting? We do not rummage in last night's garbage to find today's meal. Learn to trust the process of life always to bring you what you need. That's pretty profound. So what I'm going to do is have just one person right now say, the blank no longer serves me and I need to let go today. And Sarah, you're on my right, so you're the clock that goes tick.
Well, I'm going to say fear no longer serves me and I'm letting go of it today.
Very good. And just by saying that, it's going to definitely prompt you. And I'm going to make Sherelle laugh. She's on my left. And, left is the heart, right? The male and the female. But I'm going to make Sherelle laugh because Sherelle and I has been going back and forth on this little tidbit and we want to make some shirts. So Sherelle, can you share that one word and say the whole sentence?
The shirt phrase?
Yeah, that shirt. And use it in the sentence of no longer serves me and I let go today.
Well, it's not just one word.
But say just that first word.
Done.
What's perfection?
Perfection.
Okay.
Perfection no longer serves me and I let go today.
What does service? Abundance. And yesterday we covered that one. So you see, this is the dynamics of the colon. We're either going to have an abundance mindset or we're going to have a scarcity mindset. So today, in perfection, just to kind of let y'all know so y'all can see that even if we think somebody's at a certain level, because you see, that's a perceived idea that everybody got their crap together. Well, because of all the glitches that took place with my website, and I tried to do something and buy something on my own website, it locked me out. So my website developer has been working for 2 days to get me back on my website. So what I'm going to do is share Kristen Alexander's, you see, instead, I just knew somebody else. So Tiffany and Kristen on their websites, what I'm going to do is show you the dynamics of the way in which that we can use the look to a website. I personally, on my website, I go towards a person purchasing the package versus, well, where did you go, Kristen? I had your website opened and I'm trying to find you. Y'all just help. Bear with me while I navigate through these. I know what happened when I opened up the Zoom, it closed out yours. But KMA, let's see if you come back up. No, I got to put you all in. So on my website, I sell just the products, or my website guy geared it towards selling the products. And on Kristen and Tiffany's website, they sell or promote their coaching. So
I will say that's changing, but it's costing me a lot of money to add the products to my website.
the links to get it to, yeah, that is a costly,
And that's the goal by the end of the year, just so you know.
yeah. Okay, Kristen, help me out in the name of your website. I had it a second ago and now I can't find it.
Complete Balance by KMA.
Complete. I think that's what I wasn't. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So under her, she actually has it as the 14-day detox. And what I'm going to do is just kind of scroll through it, because then I'll go through the actual page or the teaching for the way in which that so there's two options. When you go into the Soul website, you will find it as, let's see, that's not all. I have it on the other page. So on the Soul website, it actually goes into the 14 days. So you go to the shop, you go to packages, and it's going to be the 14-day detox or good tracks. That's how they have it listed. And they have it to where you take it twice a day. You do it for 14 days. KMA has Clean Your Gut with Coach KMA. Did you know you could have 15 to 20 pounds of crud and inflammation clogged up in your digestive system? An unhealthy gut leads to, and she gives you all the reasons, and these every single one of these could be a social media post that she has in a folder that's ready to go at any given time, just to kind of give y'all an idea. Then she has the benefits. She's giving it 100% plant-based. Eat real food, gentle, natural, herbal cleanse, cleans toxins, parasites, and buildup. Get your lymph moving, clear your skin, detox your liver and other symptoms, increase energy, improve digestion, and ease constipation. Did you know that prescription medications cause havoc in your gut? They kill the good bacteria that are needed to fight off the bad bacteria. What you get, and she goes into what is your option. Here's a video for her. So she is promoting the 14-day detox. Any questions? I know we have some newer people, and I just want to have you an option to be able to ask questions, because I'm going to show you two different ways in order to use the same package. Okay, no questions. What I'm going to do now is I'll just go ahead and go straight in to the presentation on the letting go of toxins, and that will be able to bring up several different, and I apologize, I normally have a picture of a colon and I can, start showing that. However, today we don't, because reality is there is still a reality in our world. Okay, let's see, share screen. Why is my, oh, there we go. All right, I think this is the one. Letting go of toxins. And why didn't it? Okay. How do you feel? Tired or sluggish? Bloated or constipated? Joint pain or headaches? Memory blips or foggy thinking? Stubborn extra pounds? These all could be questions we're asking or hearing from a person when they are having large intestinal issues. I'm going to keep using the word and go towards that of the large intestinal issues, because of the simple fact that today we're talking about the large intestines. The large intestines, when it opens up from the small intestines into the large intestines, there's an appendix there. Why are our appendix there? Anybody learned anything from the post I did recently? Come on, let's get some feedback.
I know oh
You're good. Come on.
it detects like the illness or something like that.
That's a very good one because it is a gland and it will. Sherelle, you coming off of mute? Look at her. She's like, no.
No, it detects infection.
Yes, it detects. So illness is a good word, Ashley. Don't like beat yourself up but it detects infection and it helps keep a balance of good and bad bacteria. So what I'm going to do right now is talk about the actual fecal matter. So the poop, like your children would say, or, you could come up with all the different words that somebody might call poop. Oh, that would be a good post today, huh? We would all be laughing because every child has a different, man. I have to always look at the parents and say, so what do you call poop in your home? So we have 3 components to that. We have the actual bacteria is a third. The undigested proteins, undigested fats and proteins is a third. And the cellulose or roughage is a third. So those are the 3 components to fecal matter. If a person does not have an appendix, they will have very stinky or discoloration poop. Very stinky or discoloration. That is why they need to use probiotics to keep that good, the first component of that, the bad and the good bacteria in solution. So the job of the large intestines is to separate solid material from the actual fluids. Where do the fluids go back to? They go in the lymphatic system. That is what we will be talking about next week. You deserve more than that. You deserve to live your healthiest life to its fullness. When you're having constipation and you're having bloating, are you looking like this? No. You are miserable. When you start having amazing bowel movements, and I know some of you can attest to this because it's starting to happen as you learn, like, what are they talking about? Poop at every table, like at convention. This is like embarrassing. And then you start realizing, man, I feel so much better. When you meet somebody who only goes to the bathroom once a week and you get them going to the bathroom every single day or every 2 days, y'all, they like don't realize that health is that, like they could actually feel like this. It is profound. If you're ready to rejuvenate your body and your mind, it may be time for a whole body detox. When our mind is foggy, it's bogged down, we aren't thinking straight, I promise you, most people with headaches goes back to a lot of fecal matter that's not being decomposed correctly. It doesn't have these components and it's not breaking down. Our bodies can be overwhelmed by the toxins we encounter every day. Detoxification makes it easy for the body to eliminate toxins. And remember, we talked about toxins being of all the hormone waste byproducts, about chemicals, about, look at right here, I literally put the stacks of chemical plants. My husband works at a coal power plant and he deals with toxins every single day. When we are in an area like South Louisiana, like if I go to Colorado or Utah, you know, it's so amazing how Jordan will always tell me, you can drink out my water faucet, yeah. And, you know, like you can have water out. And, you know, in the mountains, it really is. It's different. You can drink water out the faucet. Guess what? In Louisiana, it's not nice to drink water out the faucet. So that's something that we should always, you know, just consider the area we in and what is contributing to our body. Our mind and emotional charge environments such as verbal, physical, emotional abuse, negative talk, trauma, and increased stress can be toxic to our minds. It can result in anxiety, depression, hyperactivity, panic attacks, etc., pesticides, and heavy metals. So we don't think that heavy metals can affect a child's brain, but it can. If you start, if the mother, the number one organ that's shared between the mother and a fetus is the liver. And if the mother's liver is overburdened, the baby will take on all of the toxins. Nowadays, you're having infant girls having a menstrual cycle because the mother has so much what I call xeno, X-E-N-O, estrogens. The body. Our bodies may accumulate toxins due to what we eat, think, breathe, and such as radiation, electronic devices, insecticides, pesticides, and heavy metals again. I've worked with many children where we have actually worked on helping the body to assimilate and break down heavy metals in a lot of different ways. So like if a person has more lead in their body, and it may be due to their environment, or if a person deals with guns all the time and you're exposed to the lead, lead actually affects the cardiovascular system when in abundance. With every heavy metal, we need a mineral. And if that mineral is available in the body, it will actually break it down. So that's where that balance comes in. So the 5 channels of elimination that we're going to remove toxins from. Number 1 is the bowels, the kidneys with the urine. Then we have the lungs. So through coughing, sneezing, sinuses. Then we have the lip nodes. The lip nodes, think about a person who had breast cancer or colon cancer. The first question is, how many lip nodes that we have to remove? And then the largest form of elimination is the skin. The skin is our 3rd kidney, and it excretes urine, if you really think about it, because a lot of times by the way you're sweating, and if it's not salty, when you're working out, you're probably having some dehydrated cells. Now we're going to talk about bile, because that is one of the most important. The gallbladder is what stores bile. When we no longer have a gallbladder, the liver has to take over that job. The liver is the primary filter for the body. It purifies the blood. It purifies the blood. And with the waste creates bile. So the waste byproduct from the blood is how it's creating that bile, which can be of different, colors. The bile is then dumped into the colon or the bowel. The bile is your body's natural laxative. So if your liver is unable to do its job well, the colon will be sluggish. If the colon, the bowels, is sluggish, elimination is backed up and the body becomes increasingly polluted. And this is what your kidney must now filter. So remember, if the fluid if the fecal matter is going to be solid and the body has this fluid in the large intestines, this is being taken up by the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are bringing it to the liver in order for all this breakdown of every different component that it's made out of. And it's going to break it down, and it has to take that as a fat soluble and turn it into a water soluble in order for the kidneys to handle it. This causes the kidneys to work harder than they are designed and picking up the slack for the underfunctioning liver. For this reason, the kidneys get tired and stop concentrating urine. So the bladder, the urine fills up more quickly. If you wake up at night to urinate, your kidneys are overworked and not doing their job as effectively. A lot of times you start looking at diabetics, having too much sugar late at night, or not. Some people say, I hardly eat sugar. Well, then you're not processing the sugar properly. Or it's because when the body gets woken up at night, a lot of times you're getting out of a parasympathetic sleep and you're going into a sympathetic, and our body is supposed to rest at night. At this point, note that the liver and your kidney are your body's primary filter. Both are not having to work harder than they are designed, and now your respiratory system will have to jump in to assist the elimination process. The lungs' job is to exhale gaseous waste and to sweep airborne particles out of your system. When the lungs take more than their load, they produce excess mucus to flush internal waste out through the mucous membrane. This excess mucus congests the respiratory system and increases the occurrence of respiratory infection. If a client that you're working with wakes up in the morning and has to blow their nose, keep working on the colon. Your respiratory system will attempt to sweep out the toxins through the mucosous membrane while it tries to help the lungs create excess mucus production with the intention to flush out the toxins. So the body is still inundated with toxins, normally coming in through the fecal matter. This can result in a sinus trouble, excess phlegm, etc. So if you were to ever take mucus, do you know that mucus is made up of sodium? A lot of times I'll have somebody who's not getting rid of their mucus to turn around and just put a little bit of salt, or like when I say salt, one that is of like the brand Real Salt, or what's the other one's name? Himalayan salt, and actually put it on the tip of the tongue and just allow the taste to absorb it in, because the mucus needs some sodium. Your skin can even help out by pushing toxins out through your pores, sweat, and sebaceous glands. The irritation the toxins have on your skin can cause acne, hives, psoriasis, etc. So if our body still has an abundance in the lymph nodes, then it's still coming out of our skin. So a lot of the people with eczema, it's usually start working on the kidneys. As you work on the kidneys, but of course the liver's been overburdened, the kidneys are overburdened, but change directions and go work on the kidneys first. And so Excel helps us work on the kidneys because it's going to help. And then of course our Omnitox, but a lot of people don't like the results that gives. So that's why I don't bring Omnitox in till that third, well, I say the third phase. The reason I'm calling it phase 1 and phase 2, we may have to stay on phase 1 for 6 months before a person is ready to go into phase 2. Your lymphatic system filters out toxins through your lymph nodes, which contain white blood cells that attack bacteria and viruses as they pass through the body. This is when the light bulb usually comes on. got an issue you can't solve? Nourish the liver. And these are all just, oh my God, I'm not going to read all of them, but symptoms of a clogged colon. And I mean, how many people you see with a pot belly? And don't call them a pot belly or tell them, you see your big belly? What I normally do when I'm working with clients is I actually take a measurement of the circumference of their belly button. Because guess what? When you start working on inflammation through our phase 1, the Bella Health, and then you start working on this, they will be dropping inches, and that is a motivation. So when somebody comes in my office frustrated, I remind them of what they're, so like for instance, I had a client, she had a 40 waist. And I had to keep saying, you are now at a 36.5 waist. Oh my God, look at the inches that you've lost. I mean, come on, like this is huge. I had to say it 8 times before I saw her face really receive. I'm going to say this again, really receive the miraculous job that her body performed at. And you see how I said that? The miraculous job that your body performed at. Guys, use a huge adjective for that person. Are they a visual person? Are they a auditory person? Or do they need some touchy and feely words? You get it? And then you get into the accomplishment that they're actually getting into, because most people forget what their problems were when you first started working with them. That's why I keep charting. It helps me to build the language rapport of that person. Is a whole body detox right for you? Yes, if you want weight loss benefits, boost energy levels, optimal organ functions, and a balanced digestive system, then letting go of toxins is going to benefit your body today. And so the last screen is actually the letting go of toxins. If you get this PowerPoint presentation, there's an area for you to put your items. And then of course I have mine, where I had given this presentation to a group, huge group of women. And let's see, we had a chat and I had not been watching filter ? Okay, Lisa, can you remind me of what it is that the question was? I'm going to stop sharing.
You were asking about the gallbladder, I believe, and I said some sort of filter.
Okay. Yes, it is the gallbladder. The gallbladder is actually a storage tank. It's more of, think about it as your gas tank. So when we look at the gas tank of a car, if we have a leak, or it's got a bunch of gravel in it. So this is a true story, and I'm going to give you this analogy, so hopefully you can think about it in this aspect. So my husband had open heart surgery, and he couldn't cut grass. And if anybody knows my husband, oh my God, it is like him and the neighbor like compete about the prettiest lawns, you know, or how can we cut that grass? Now we live in Louisiana. Right now it's pouring down rain, and he is so mad that he didn't cut grass before this rain came. Like, we cut grass according to the rain over here, because sometimes you will cut grass 2 days a week. And just know that our grass cutting over here, you know, can take, I mean, him and I, 3 hours, we could be doing lawn on Sundays. So when everybody says, what do you do? Well, on Sundays or somewhere on the weekend, we have to do 3 hours of lawn. So right now we'll probably be more because you have to go slower. So Allie, he had asked her to cut grass because I was at work and she was helping out. And he said, okay, you're going to need to put gas in the lawnmower. Well, she didn't know that he had a tank for the pressure washer, which was water and Dawn. And then he had gas cans. Allie is like definitely should have been my blonde child. She's a very intelligent person and can pass great tests. However, when it comes to common sense, yeah. Well, she put water and Dawn. So my brother, who's a diesel mechanic, came, played with the lawnmower, couldn't start it. Finally, when he feels better, he calls the neighbor, John. John comes over and John finally sticks his finger in it and does. Man, you got Dawn in there. We had to empty the gas tank out. I mean, all the lawnmower would do was it would never start. So do y'all see what I'm showing you? If you don't have that gallbladder, the start process of mastication in the small intestines of the way in which that all these materials, airborne materials, or particles, or food particles, or any particles that we have will not have this bile in order to break things down. So we had to dump the whole lawnmower tank out. We had to wipe it all down. And then we had to put, let it dry and then put gas, and the lawnmower started right up. So, when we don't have that gallbladder, we don't have the tank. So just, when you're thinking about it or you're working with clients and they tell you they don't have it. So the cascara in Fast Track actually is an emulsifier. So it is a bitter herb. So every culture in culinary has a bitter herb. It could be cilantro. In Cajun land, in our gumbo, because we have fat and a flour, we put what's called gumbo filet, and which comes from the sassafras tree, which is also where root beer is made from. Let's see, what other cultures? Okay, so think about in France, afterwards they have a dinner bitter. If you ever have a little dinner bitter, I promise you will go to the bathroom the next day. Look at all y'all faces. It's like, okay, so sometimes if I cannot get somebody to do an herb, let me tell you what I'll do. I'll send them to the liquor store over here because, Louisiana, in our grocery stores, we have the whole liquor store, and I will make them go buy some bitters, and I will make them just start adding a bitter to something. But now we have like this section in one of the stores. They have like about 45 different flavored bitters. I am not lying. And I'm just like, okay, just go find your favorite flavor and put you a drop in some water and drink it and, just get it down. So a bitter, the cascara, is actually going to help emulsify. So think about the Dawn. It's going to break up that grease, and it's going to help it go into the small intestines and start its process. The aloe vera, that's actually in Fast Track. We have 2 different aloe veras, which are cooling. So cooling is going to drive down that inflammation. Recently, I just did a stool analysis on a client I've been working with for a long time because we were just still at this area where we can't get something to happen. Well, come to find out, her stool analysis was actually beautiful, but 3 areas, she absolutely still has tons of inflammation in that large intestines. So the Soul Complete actually has slippery elm in it. I actually like the Soul Complete, but what I do with her is I have her mix Soul Complete with the fiber because of the simple fact that it's just, we need to do more repairing. And I like the marshmallow, which is also in Vertizymes. Marshmallow is in Vertizymes and it's in Soul Complete. Soul Complete, I made sure marshmallow and slippery elm was in there. And Blake and I went back and forth on that formula.
Hey, Chris, I got a quick question.
Yes.
Do you know, I've noticed that the Soul Complete keeps me more regular than the fiber powder. The fiber powder doesn't really seem to do anything for me, but the Complete does. Does that make any sense to you?
It does for my constipated child too. That is now chocolate milk in my house.
Yeah. I'm like, huh, it's intriguing to me.
Okay. So Are you an A blood type by any chance? Lisa, what blood type? And you can type it if you,
I can't remember. I'd have to look. I can
Okay.
tell you in a few minutes.
So what happens is that some people, psyllium is not their favorite, and slippery elm may be their favorite for their body. My body likes slippery elm and will keep me regular. So if I drink my Soul Complete every day, I will stay regular. I don't even have to take the good vibrations. However, I add just a little bit so I could have extra roughage on the days I'm not eating my salads. Because remember, the fecal matter has to have the roughage and the cellulose also. So does that help answer your question? Some people, okay, so this client of mine will do better on Soul Complete, and she's actually going to get it 3 times a day from me versus the psyllium. And the psyllium is in the good vibrations. We actually have, I think, 2 or 3 different strains of it. So that's why some people will be different.
Yeah, and I am A positive.
Okay, you saw what I just showed y'all. So I'm certified in Eat Right for Your Blood Type, and I took this class when I was, oh my God, 2003. And I learned that certain herbs are good for certain blood types, especially A blood types. Like we're more the vegetarian, we got the digestive system that will not break things down. Red meat will constipate the crap out of me. I have to eat it with my salad and no potato or anything like that. I've learned that about myself. So what I'm going to do is go over the protocol. So this is from the Trifold, and this is going to be the protocol for the Good Tracks blend. The way in which I'm doing it with ALS or autoimmune issue people or highly sensitive people. So you heard those words. If a person has been doing Soul for 4 and 5 years, they can handle the 14-day detox. If a person is brand new and they just started, okay, so this is one of the things I want to bring up. When people tell you they have been doing supplements, but they only on their list have vitamins written as supplements, and they're doing singles written as supplements, they are not doing herbals. So their GI tract is not in a place of balance. Now, if they have been truly doing herbals, that's a whole different ballgame. They can actually handle it a little bit better. So what I do is have them do the 1 scoop of good vibrations with the Soul Vital, and they actually put this together, because the Vital in that formula, you know, when you put this good vibrations and the Vital together, you're helping that fluid level of the waste byproduct of when it's separating to clean up and help cleanse the blood at a higher rate. Y'all got that? That's why I put the Vital in the drink. Because when it's going to come to dealing, remember at one point I talked about the blood and cleaning out the blood. That's why it's going to happen like that. And then what I have them do, you see how I put 1 to 3 capsules of Fast Track, 1 to 3 capsules of Omnitox. Most of my clients, the first week start off with only 1 Omnitox or 1 Omnitox every 3 days. Reason being, if they have a polluted lymphatic system, they are going to come out with boils. They are going to come out with cystitis, acne. They are going to. So if that happens, I want y'all to remember something. You didn't do phase 1 long enough to clean out the environment. Sometimes, look at y'all aha moment. This is why I have it as phase 1. So let me show y'all something. Y'all are very much aware that Lisa and I work with predominantly ALS people together. The reason we came out with this brochure, so we had one of the ALS people start on this phrase, and I wasn't ready to put her on it, but she was determined that she was ready for this, and her hair started falling out. I'm going to try to think of like, oh, she came out with a boil. And so when I typed and explained to her, we still need to work these two protocols together. She dumped the Omitox, and she dumped the, I'm trying to think of what else, the Soul Clear. You get where I'm coming from? And we slowed down the process of helping her body to cope and clean up more. Does that help explain to people why I slowed it down? Remember, if it's coming out the skin, the waste byproduct, the fecal matter still doesn't have a good enough third. Remember, a third is roughage and cellulose, so that's where that fiber is going to come in. Then we have the undigested fats and proteins, and then we have the bacteria. So a third of bacteria, a third of undigested fats and protein, and a third of the cellulose and roughage. So if we don't have that mix, then it's coming where? Into the bloodstream. I'll take one question and then I'll stop recording.
I have a question, Chris. This is Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Hi. So with people that have done the phases prior, you would keep them on. Would you also do one a week starting for week 1 and then move them up? Or what do you typically do?
I always start them with one every 3 days to see. Okay, so one of the things that's different with Spanish community versus, I don't know how to explain it. They have more congested gallbladders, so they actually do very well with Omitox versus a lighter skinned person will have less issues with gallbladder, so it'll make them either runny or when we start bringing that in, the Omitox. So, and also depending on but some people are like, hell no, just give it to me. So I have a client I've been working with mold. We have it tested through a test through her medical doctor. We know what we are dealing with. She has literally been on 2 Omitox 3 times a day and 2 fast tracks 3 times a day with 2 magnesiums 3 times a day. Guys, that's a lot to get. So we know we're dealing with a very, very toxic issue. Okay. So in order to get her to go to the bathroom, but she was 2 weeks out of the month, all she would do is come home and go on the sofa. Now she can function all month long. We don't have her exactly where we need to be, but what it is, Holly, you need to study the character of your person you're dealing with, the mind, because some people just can't physically handle going to the bathroom, because she was a 1-week girl. And let me tell you something, you talk about working this letting go. I don't know if you were at the beginning where we actually talked about the emotional aspects of the colon. We had to go down each one and start working that. And just to let you know, she's a clinical psychologist who went through some very rough times with a lot of patients. And we were able to start clearing she's in the school system now, which is a lot better for her. And, but we were able to clear a lot of trauma that happened. And it was more about people calling her at all hours of the night and her just feeling so like, I need to help everybody. And, just felt like it was her fault if somebody committed suicide or different things like that. That's where the trauma comes in a professional setting. But it was a lot of, we had to let go. So it's going to depend on the mindset of the person. And then can the lymphatic system handle the Omitox? Most ALS people or autoimmune issues cannot. You've got to go slower.
And is the fast track okay, or do you
Fast track is to bowel tolerance. So I teach
Okay.
them. And so you know that I have a questionnaire and I just start, how much water are you drinking? What's your exercise look like? How often are you going to the bathroom? I even have a stool chart. I make them. So I know when a person, I pretty much know how to do the fast track with a person because of the simple fact that I study. That's one of the major things I do at the beginning is how are your kidneys working and how is your colon working? That's what I work through first before you start doing any type of detoxing. I am not the type of person who will sell you a detox because you came into my office and told me you want a detox.
So when you're dealing with people with autoimmune,